Hey, Future Outcast, YouTube, gentlemen. Um, I'm the Outcast. You may be here from some of my F125 YouTube shorts, in which case, welcome. And thank you for the views and the likes. And some of you may be here from my past sort of stint as a Counter-Strike player, Counter-Strike coach who used to kind of put out stupid videos. I picked myself up a Logitech G29, and over the last 3 years, I've learned sort of how to drive, how to get the car around a track. I've gotten to a point where I'm able to do a career mode with the AI difficulty level set to 108. I haven't won the championship in that difficulty, so 108 is my max so far. Over the holidays, I got myself a direct drive wheel. I've got the Logitech G Pro and the G Pro pedals, and I picked myself up a cockpit. Next Level Racing FGT, I believe it is. I've been following the YouTube community of, you know, the how-tos and the helpful tips and everything. I consider myself kind of a student of you guys, really. I don't drive with any assists or anything. I've got this new rig here. I've been driving on it for a couple days now. I'm feeling okay with it. I'm still learning. This is going to be sort of a racing journal where I'm going to record myself sort of episodically for each sort of weekend, like some of the other YouTube creators are doing it. But I'm not really like, I don't really consider myself a YouTuber. I mean, like, this is just for fun, and I really am just learning. So this is going to be my race journal for my team career. Ideally, what happens here, this is the kind of thing that I'm really hoping I can do here, is get you guys to tell me what I'm doing wrong, so that I can kind of improve. Just let me know down in the comments about if you think this is crazy, if I'm doing something wrong. I'm going to show you all my setups. I'm going to be showing you all my laps and everything. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the first episode here. I've skipped through all of creating the my team, the career, the team, and everything. I've got my team set up here. I give you a little peek at the car. That's the owner, Dominic Toretto. We've called ourselves the Outcast Racing Team or something like that. Here's a little peek at our suits and the car. It's just a little bit busy. It's a little bit busy, but I really wanted to do like a nice kind of like black, white kind of car. You just don't see somebody kind of bold enough to really, a real team sort of bold enough to just go after the black and white or the white and black. So I wanted to kind of play with that a little bit. So that's what we're dealing with. I did learn on the G29 for about 3 years, and then so I've been driving with this new rig now with the direct drive for a couple days. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm keeping all the assists off. Once again, the AI difficulty set to 108. It's the best that I've been able to kind of stay somewhere in the pack with. I'm going to keep everything sort of difficult. So the forecast is going to be approximate. The driver moves, I don't want to be kind of too distracted about, like, you know, seeing weird names and weird teams and stuff. I kind of like having a bit of consistency and see myself kind of progress. So I've limited the driver moves, but I keep the default of almost everything else except for I've turned off the research management, so that's going to be automated. What I'm hoping happens here is that the team will go ahead and just start researching the things they want to research. And if they start messing with things like the brakes, I can kind of just not bother developing that. I can catch that before they start doing it. The brakes upgrades in this game, for some reason, they make it very difficult for me to handle and deal with it, especially when I'm learning. The muscle memory's all over the place. Again, it's more about learning and everything. The driver icons, I've kept everybody off except for the esports drivers. I really apologize if anybody else here is a esports driver. I'm not that familiar with everybody. I'm going to be driving as Brendan Lee, who most of what I'm going to be doing and just the way I'm going to be understanding the setups and stuff are coming from videos sort of like the Brendan Lees and the Arno Altmiers. Again, this is going to be sort of like my approach to the game with the understanding I've gained from watching you guys. So please let me know in the comments. Again, if when you see me doing something crazy or wrong, like, please let me know. And then for the rules, I've kept all the rules on. The corner cutting frequency, stringency, I've put on strict, but man, I really love it having it to set to regular. It feels more realistic to me because in real F1, it seems I think they can cut the corners about like 5 times or something before they even get like a warning that they are going to get a penalty. So I do enjoy playing the regular and playing the regular sort of setting and playing with the honor system, but if you want to improve and you want to play with people in the YouTube community and some of the people I've been playing with on Twitch, you really want to have this set to strict. So everything else is like on increased immersive. The recovery mode I've set to none, so you are going to see whatever happens. Not going to be able to fix it or deal with it. So I'm just gonna have to deal with whatever happens. So yeah. And then of course everything else is set to simulation. Collisions are on. Without further ado, let's get into it. Narrator Outcast, take it away. Oh, this is weird. But anyway, I'll see you guys in game. Alright, everybody. That's enough of triple chin, baby face looking past Outcast. Thanks for that awkward, cringe interview. We're going to be heading to track here. Our first time in Australia.
Hello and a very warm welcome to a brand new season in Formula One. It's 2025. We've got a 4-time world champion joining the grid. Do we have 4 teams in the championship? There's certainly been convergence over the winter months and plenty to look forward to before the huge regulation change in 2026. Now is all about free practice. Let's get straight into it in FP1.
So, I'll be using practice 1 as my only real practice session. I'll be driving in for most weekends, just to get feel of the car, practice up the track a little bit, make sure the setup is making sense.
Hey mate, this is Mark. This is going to be a good year. We're going to have a great time together, and obviously the team are brand new, so I've set everything up from scratch. Let's make the big boss happy and show that we're not just here on the grid to make up the numbers, all right?
Again, so my setups that I use are basically time trial setups that over the course of multiple My Team careers, I've sort of adjusted for the car for longer race weekends. So let me know in the comments below if I'm doing anything crazy or if anything looks out of whack here. I really don't know what I'm doing. Of course, the wings are at 25-20. And you can see the suspension setup here. I think I move up the front suspension. It seems very loose there, yeah. But try not to mess with it too much. I try to just use this as sort of a baseline feel and judge it by the race strategy program that I run. So, gonna head on track for the first time in this new car. Just making sure everything's working here. So this sort of warm-up lap is also sort of an exploratory lap where, again, I just really want to get a feel for the car, see where the car might be having issues. Some new My Team cars are really loose on the rear end. They're very pointy on the front end. Some of them are very good at the high-speed corners. Some are better at low-speed corners. Some have no power. So you kind of have to find out where the weakness is as the season goes on. I've actually even had cars where they felt relatively balanced, but the tires would overheat no matter what you did, which is kind of interesting, to be honest. I wish I had that documented. But anyways, yeah, just trying to warm up the tires here, but also sort of get a little bit of a feel for, you know, if I might be able to get a feel for something before we find out during a hot lap. I'm gonna get out of the way of the kick sobber here. You know, you really don't want to get bungled up with the AI in this game. As much as they've improved it over the years, the AI still don't really seem to have an understanding of in-laps and out-laps. They'll just kind of mess with you either way. But, yep, so we're starting our first lap here. You can see I'm kind of button hunting a little bit. Make sure my car's set up properly. I'm not really great about getting the tires warmed up, but that's not too bad for, you know, a set of hards on a green track. Turn 1 is going all right. It's usually a weak point for me. This hard braking zone, hard to trust the car here, but fun to pull it into the apex. So yeah, I'm trying to be gentle here. It is a green track, and the car is new to me. The rig is still new. Yep, I'm just trying to see what's going on here with the car, and you know, I'm honestly looking back on it, in reflection, it was actually a very balanced car. There were very few issues that I could kind of tell immediately. Any issues seem to be more or less driver error so far, but I guess getting some heat into the tires is a problem, but that could be setup related. That could be, you know, the track. It could be me, just the way I'm driving it. So it looks like we have that kick sobber actually getting in our way now, so I'm hoping he gets out of the way, but he's not. But we lost a lot of our delta there with that dirty air, it looks like. But we still managed to get it done. I do like to do the race strategy, you know, to also just be able to tell, you know, if the car's sort of in the area of the delta where the game sort of expects you to be. And, you know, I think it's cool that they take the telemetry on the tire wear and the fuel usage and they kind of apply it to the real strategy in the race. I think that's actually super underrated. Just so you know, the car is rated as the worst car on the track. The team, we started with all of our facilities at 0, everything to 0, except for I did give our team some resources, some money. That's about it. And skipping ahead now to the end of the race strategy program in our practice session. Been pushing the car quite a bit now in the different laps, really looking for the disadvantage. Where is the issue with this car? I can't seem to find it. Just been enjoying myself, and then...
Oh, man.
Yep. The,
Going so well.
the issue with this team
Box this lap.
seems to be the driver. As you could hear me say there, the practice session has otherwise been basically perfect. Car drove fantastic. It feels great. Really, I was looking for the disadvantage, hunting for it the entire practice program. So I'm starting to look towards the race and qualifying at this point. And once we get in the garage, I'll have a peek at the setup. But other than that, I think we're good to go. All right, and here we are in qualifying. Yeah, everything's again still looking relatively smooth. I saw the weather report. There's at 14% chance of rain throughout the entire session, and you know, the weather system is set to approximate. So I was really nervous about rain coming. You see some other drivers already out, so I'm thinking I want to get out there earlier than later. I don't like going out too early because the track is green and you can end up dealing with some AI getting in your way. But I'm gonna head out anyways. I don't want the rain to come and interfere. We had that little spin in practice 1. I don't want this weekend to go down the drain, so let's go out there and put in a decent banker lap and make our get myself feeling a little bit more confident here for the race weekend. Of course, I want to make sure there's nobody in my immediate surroundings. There's no incidents coming out of the pit lane. I'm going to be focusing on these tires, these damn tires, getting these things warmed up. If I can just get a nice banker lap in, well, we might be sitting somewhere nicely on the grid just based on the car. So trying to take this seriously, trying to make sure my tires are nice and warmed up, trying to give a little bit of extra space to the cars ahead who seem to be starting an out lap. And I'm going to be on my way with my first hot lap in qualifying here in Australia. Nice braking on turn 1, turn 2, not so bad exit either. This is all smooth, nothing too dramatic. Again, perfect for a banker lap. Just taking our time, making sure we get the lap in. Pushing a little bit there on the exit of turn 3, and watching ourselves for beaching ourselves on any of these curbs. Then this corner, unfortunately, right there. I'm not sure if you could see that, but I did hit the grass on the left side. Major mistake, especially going into this corner with the long straight ahead. It's gonna take time out of our lap all the way down this straight. We didn't seem to get that bad of an exit. It seemed okay. So I'm continuing with it anyways. See where we get. But yeah, you can see on my face there. I'm already knowing this lap probably isn't going to end well. I decided to push that braking point a little bit too, just to see if I can throw that into my final lap. And then, we missed our apex altogether there. This corner is a disaster for me. So this lap is truly in the bucket. We ended up 8th out of the 8 people who had set laps. So, not the greatest. If you see places that definitely could use some improvement, please let me know in the comments. I'm sort of just, again, still learning here. I think this lap the tires will be warmer. They already seem warmer. And this could be very well the lap, so let's give a watch to this one, see where we get, and we'll see if we need to go out again. Tires nice and warm. No other cars out on track. It looks like that should be interfering with us. Turn 1 looks good. Little conservative, but pushing a little bit more on the exit there. We actually end up about a half-tenth up. A little bit deeper on the turn 3, using a little bit more of the track, pushing the car a little bit through the corner as opposed to pulling the car, and we're up another 10th. Trying to be bold enough to hold the throttle through all of this, except for this corner. We gotta really slam on the brakes for a quick hot second just to get the front end to pull in there. You don't want the front end to lock up, though. We actually made so much time from that exit after not hitting the grass. We're almost a half a second ahead, hoping at this point that the rest of the lap goes pretty much according to plan. We had a little wiggle there actually on the intro of that fast chicane. Looked like we kind of bobbled around on the apex there with the suspension, but everything else is looking smooth so far. Really pushing ourselves through this last sector. I'm feeling the car at this point. I know this might be the lap. Trying to get ourselves through this last sector, fighting this last corner again. And we're 8/10 up. I'm hoping that puts us at least in a decent position, but I can't even get the words out right. Yeah. After how good that lap actually felt, it wasn't that quick. P16 isn't honestly that bad when you consider there's 22 cars on the grid and we're brand new, but I am starting to think about that third set of tires now, And if we can't get a little further up the grid, I'm feeling confident at this point that we could maybe see a top 15 qualifying. But that's only if we can get a decent lap in and we can kind of manage through this AI traffic here. The AI really doesn't... it really sort of doesn't acknowledge you in the queue when it comes to outlaps and in-laps. They constantly want to pass you, and then if you let them by, they want to let you by again. It's sort of this back and forth. It's really frustrating, and they don't seem to be able to understand if you're on an outlap or an in-lap or what. I'm working here on warming my tires up, but I'm also considering the fact that I have a car right on my butt that, you know, if I hit the brakes too much could cause an issue. The AI in front of us also backs out, so I'm thinking at this point, you know what, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna take this slot and just go. I'm not gonna bother messing around with them. Let's just get this done. Hot lap mode, and we're off. We did get a better exit. Pull into turn 1 is a little bit more of a push coming out of turn 2 there. We're another half-tenth up. Deep braking in. We can miss the apex a little bit, but I really wanted to be able to push myself through the corner, and it got in my head. I was overdriving the car, for sure. It got into my head that I, you know, needed to make this as fast as possible, and unfortunately overshot my shot. So yeah, so we ended up in P19. Jarno Otmir ended up 6/10 off of the second last place driver. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he got some more traffic or something. But yeah, we ended up P19. I wish I would have taken a look at my lap times there. Same thing with the practice session as well, honestly. I'm really looking for some consistency, but anyways, guys, we're on our way to the race now. Trying to see if we can't find our way to some points. But we'll see how this goes.
The winter is over. It's time for Formula One 2025. Yes, that long break that you've all been coping with so well can now be put to the back of your minds. It's on-track action and it's off-track drama. That's what we're looking forward to. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Yuki Tsunoda and Piastri, Russell, Hülkenberg, Bortoletto and Ollie Behrman, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll and Antonelli, Hadjar, Albon, Esteban Ocon and Liam Lawson, Lee, Colapinto, Sainz and Jarno Opmeer completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And joining me in the commentary box this afternoon, the First Lady of World Motorsports, Naomi Schiff. New season, new dawn, and now 22 cars and 11 teams on the grid.
First of all, this is such an exciting time. I mean, to have an 11th team on the grid is exciting news for the sport. But for them today, I guess you would be really nervous. It's the first time you're going to be doing this. There is so much to learn. But at the end of the day, they've got to remember that expectations aren't that high. They've all been there before. They've all had their first race, and no one is expecting them to land on the top of the podium. So just learn to walk before you can run.
I know you're frustrated to be this far back on the grid, but you've got to keep that under control. Keep a cool head and work your way through the field gradually as you go. It's not all going to be won or lost at the first corner.
All right, guys, I'm looking at strategy here. Being at the back of the grid, I like to start on the harder set. Harder set? My Canadian's coming out. I like to start on the harder set so that I can kind of let the faster cars ahead pull me forward if I can catch up with them in some way. So the idea will be, you know, start pushing a little bit near the end of the longer stint at the beginning of the race so that we can lock onto the DRS of some of the faster cars ahead and let them pull us. And then we'll switch onto the mediums at the end and see if we can get some overtakes done. Making some adjustments to the tires as well, just to make sure there's a little bit more balance. I noticed they were still quite a bit off in qualifying, so... Yep, I'll be starting off at the back of the grid almost with hards. We're actually in P19. And, yeah, the focus will be sort of like if we can grab a couple positions at the beginning of the race and hold on to them, let the cars ahead pull us along somewhere in the midfield. If we can catch up to them, hook onto their DRS, and get pulled away from this backfield, that's sort of the goal here. Yeah, of course, warming up our tires in the formation lap, especially on the hards, almost an impossible task if you want to stay with the AI and have sort of an immersive experience. I'm trying my best here, but pretty sure I'm just ruining my tires. As you can see, they're not really going anywhere. So I'm thinking in my head at this point, you know what, if I even get 1 or 2 places at the start, that'd be great given these tire temps. It might be, you know, lap 3, maybe even lap 4 before we have any real pace. So getting parked away here for the race, and here we go. First race in Australia. First race in our new car. Lights off. We get a great start. We're off. We're past the Haas of Ocon.
Oh my.
Looking on the outside of the Racing Bull. We even get
Oh my.
around a set of Aston Martins, and I think Antonelli was tied up in that as well. I'm able to switch back to the inside. I want to protect this position. I could have dived down maybe looking for a couple more spots, but I really wanted to protect this position. We're so close to points here. So I'm holding on to this. Trying to get a feel here for the dirty air. I don't want to take any damage on the wing. I don't want to get any sort of track limit warnings at the entrance here. So really quickly off the bat, a very successful start. I've gotten a couple positions, and I'm focused on holding them here. I feel like I have a run here at Alonso, so I'm going for it. If I can get it now, this would be great. But I don't feel it's safe. I back out. Again, we're so close to a points position. I really was thinking about that. Don't know how frequently that's going to come around this season. So backed out of that one. Wanted to protect a little bit of my battery as well. And it's looking like we're maybe starting to slot ourselves in here. But I'm also sort of just biding my time until these tires warm up, and then we'll get a better sense of where we are pace-wise and pecking order-wise. But so far, everything's looking good. I'm feeling a little vulnerable with my battery so low. But you know, as you can see, we're maintaining pace here. So this is good so far. We're also still exploring this new car, so not sure if tire wear is going to be the issue or if something else is going to be the issue. But yeah, at this point, I'm sort of noticing the situation I've gotten myself in here with the battery, so I'm being mindful of that. I'm also being mindful of the little gap ahead that's starting to form. I'd really like to be part of that group. I think the program at this point really is to settle in. Alonso there actually locked up, so his tire's a little warm. Oh, he has a little bit of a wiggle actually, so hopping on board here with Alonso, it looks like he's actually struggling all of a sudden there with his mediums. We get a bit of a brake exit there on that straight, and we turn on the battery just a second to see how it's going. We seem to keep pace, but Alonso seems to have a malfunction with Gasly or something going on, and it gives me such a boost through the slipstream. I actually get the double overtake done into P11.
I will take that. Oh, okay.
Which is perfect timing because, as you can see the group is starting to pull off. And we were falling out of touch with that leading group with Behrman up ahead. So there really couldn't have been a perfect time for that to happen. I think something happened with Gasly that Alonso panicked and hit the brakes or something. I'm not sure, but you could clearly see the DRS closed for a second there on the straight, which opened the door for us. And, you know, it was a bit risky, but hey, it's Formula One. You got to get it done. And so now the race really is on to catch up to Behrman ahead, 2.5 seconds. And we need to sort of close that gap down now if we want this stint to be worth anything. So I am now starting to push. Every lap forward now is going to be a little bit faster than the last lap in terms of pushing the car. And actually, we even get our first track limits warning there. It's on lap 5. And you know, we've got Behrman down to 2.2 seconds already. Well, lap 7, we have caught up. We've officially caught up to the group ahead. The group ahead actually has split off from another group, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but you know, there are points available in front of us if we can manage to just keep with this. Trying to be a little bit mindful here of extending this stint, but also trying to keep up with this this newer, faster group of cars. So it's kind of an interesting, you know, balance of things I'm worried about here. You know, I want to keep pace, but I also don't want to fall behind everybody else ahead behind us. We are actually in a points position, so if I can maintain that, that would be great. Starting to get a little bit of a peak on the inside here. Looks like the tire wear is starting to actually come into play now. But, you know, again, I'm sort of just still wanting to just bide my time. I don't want to just go out and start a fight. You know, we've got probably another 8 laps to go, so, you know, let's let them fight it out, pull us along, and see where this gets us. If it doesn't put us into the back of one of them, hopefully. But anything at this point, honestly, is gravy, so icing on the cake. You can see me kind of etching a little bit closer, a little bit closer. I think I actually get a decent exit there. I'm actually feeling it on the straight as well. Am I going to have a peak? We're going all the way, and I back out again, not feeling safe. Thinking about the point I've got already. Yeah, it'd be nice to get some more, but it'd be worse to not get any. But I am going to dive down the inside and have a peek. And nothing doing there. Again, really focused on making sure we secure this point. Just couldn't get the car quite enough alongside there. He's pitting anyways, so that gives us a little bit more room to push on ahead. Catch up to Russell. Trying to keep these tires alive. I think I've got another number of laps to go. And we're already at the 40% mark on the tire wear, so really happy to just sit back here. In fact, kind of struggling a bit to keep up with them. But yeah, just really happy to sit back here and just snag the DRS for a number of laps here. I'm now thinking that Russell might be our meal ticket to some serious points. If he's extending even further, and he's definitely on the 2-stop, and he's still got pace on those mediums. He's still pushing, pulling me. I'm struggling here to keep up with him. You can see my energy's down at 30%. My tire wear's at 43% on the rear left there. I'm struggling here. But this is fantastic for our race. Having Russell in a Mercedes pull our brand new car around this track for several laps is exactly what the doctor ordered. I'm thinking about trying to get past him if I can. but I'm not going to force it. I've got our energy up. I've got, we're in the points, not being too risky. If it happens, it happens is kind of the mentality I have going into this final sector here. I'm sure Russell's about to pit anyways on those mediums, so just trying to keep it together here. But I am on the hunt for a P7 here. And yes, so Russell will pit at the end of lap 13, along with Leclerc, who's pit. And so this is going to put us in 5th place for now. At this point, I realize that these are the laps that make the difference, so I'm starting to push a little bit here and there, starting to really push these tires now. Might not translate into faster lap times, but more consistent lap times, I hope. And, I kind of try to baby it when the tires are new, and I work my way up to pushing it harder and harder as the tires rubber in. You can see there's a little bit of a wiggle. So I am fully pushing the car now. The tires, the car. I want to not lose as much time as possible in this section of the race. When I know I'm slower, I'm in the slower car. I don't have cars ahead of me that are faster pulling me along. So these are the laps that matter. It's kind of a fine balance here of, making sure the car's getting around the track safely, but also, trying to push a little bit more than I did last lap, given the tire situation. I can kind of see there Verstappen on, I think, fresh hards is slowly catching up to the back of me. I think he's doing a 2-stint, so I don't really want to fight this. I'm gonna let him just soar right past on those fresh hards, and hopefully we can snag yet another DRS zone. You can see the rear left now at 60+%. So I'm starting to think about pitting, but I'm also wondering if I can't snag some DRS here. Box this lap. But I ended up realizing that Leclerc's just going to take off like Verstappen did. So pitting this lap 17. Good pit entry. Hoping for a decent pit experience here. I did upgrade the pit crew, so hoping it all goes smoothly. And of course it does. I'm really worried about Russell on the exit here. Of course, he was part of the group ahead from the beginning of the race, so I'm hoping I can get out ahead of him. And yes, I get just out in front of him. Great for our race, especially if I can maintain this. If not, it's a double bonus because Russell can still pull us away, hopefully, from people that are much faster than us. So we're going to try here, but, I'm thinking at this point in P1 we were spinning out, and we're now about halfway through the race, and we're P7 after pitting. So things are going great. I think Russell here is definitely going to have a look. He's on the colder tires. I'm wanting to hold him up as much as I can. How can I defend here? Am I fast enough? I don't have any battery. I'm holding on to the inside here while he tries to go around the outside. And my softer tire compound, the mediums, allow me to live one more day longer here on Australia. But of course, his tires are just going to get warmer and warmer. And my tires are going to get older and older. So I might only get a lap or two of trying to get away from him, and then, he'll probably end up catching me at the end of the race. Anywho, we're in P6 now. And as you can see, it's just Russell and I. So if I can stay with Russell or hold Russell up and use him later to pull us along, this is fantastic. Those hards are starting to come into spec here, and my old mediums are, well, I would say we're probably about even on tire wear right now, which for You know, the AI means, you know, I'm going to have to start defending a little bit there, as you saw. And the AI does this kind of thing where when they're in this vicinity of you, they will just keep fighting over and over again. So I'm going to let him go by, actually, at this point. And try to just snag his DRS, because other than that, otherwise, he's going to keep attacking, and I'm going to have to keep using my battery. And we're both just going to end up slower for it. So I'm seeing Alonso in my rear view there at 3 seconds away, less than 3 seconds away. I'm hoping I can mitigate that and maybe stay with Russell. Maybe steal a P6 at the end of the race. But yeah, if I can just keep with Russell here in the DRS and stay ahead of Alonso, that's sort of the goal now at this point. We'll worry about having a peak at P6 closer to the end of the race. So at this point of the race, I'm thinking my tires are relatively new. They're in spec now, or coming into spec. He's on the older, he's on the harder set of tires. I have a lot of energy now going onto the straight. This might be my chance to get by. I don't remember if it's this lap, or I do think I have one more lunge at him. Of course, I actually am going to go for the move fully around the outside. And actually gives us the fastest second sector of the race. Which, again, is great. It's great for a strategy. If we can... Hey, look, if he ends up passing me back without disrupting my race, hey, it's a bonus. He's pulling us along. So as far as I'm concerned, this is all gravy. I am pushing quite hard, though, to see if I can't get him out of our DRS range, because that would let me set my sights on Norris ahead and maintain this P6. But unfortunately, Russell's too damn fast in the straights, and his tires are really starting to come into play here in the 22nd lap out of 29. So I'm pushing it here, as you can see. But I'm also being cognizant of the fact that, you know, P7 honestly is a dream position. So if that's where I end up, great. I do end up actually getting out of DRS, but I've cooked my battery so bad now that I'm not even going to be fast enough on the straight to keep him out. So, yep, this is all basically survival mode at this point. I think at this point I've realized the situation. I'm not going to fight him here. He's going to get by me. I'm thinking if his tires aren't too much better than mine, I could still hopefully stick with him. And you can see now what I was talking about. Alonso is now actually 4 seconds away from us. So Russell has pulled us away a few times with just a couple of straights worth of DRS. So I'm gonna try to stick with him here and maintain that gap, because a P7 would be phenomenal for our brand new team. Okay, skipping ahead here to lap 26, you can see now we've actually pulled another second to Alonso. We're 5 seconds ahead. So this is great work with Russell. Unfortunately, it is getting into my dumb head the idea that might be able to pass Russell here within the last couple laps. He hasn't really been able to pull away from me, and in fact, look, I'm actually getting much closer to him in the slow sections. So it's getting into my head the idea about, you know, maybe overtaking him and getting a P6 by the end of the race. So my battery's not all that bad. I'm thinking maybe this lap or next I might have a go, depending on how close I am to him. I'm not able to keep up with him without using the battery. That's the only real thing holding me back here. And he even has a mistake, which really has invited me in now. I'm really in this thought process now of getting by him I actually get a good launch here, actually, from the chicane. We use all the rest of our energy to see if we can't make something happen here. I'm going to dive down the inside, see if we can't make it happen. Just barely, without any contact. Of course, simulation damage. I'm really worried about that. I'm really worried about holding onto these points, but a P6 is too much to ignore. But as suspected, it's not going to really help. Russell passes us right back with no problems. So yeah, if anything, it's pulled us a little further away from Alonso, I think. But yeah, we've learned our place in life here, and I think it's going to be P7. And that wraps up Australia for us. We couldn't really make it past Russell for P6, but a P7, honestly, in our opening race, I will take that. Yeah, very happy about that.
What a race!
And there you have it, guys. P7 from P19. I wish I looked at the lap times to check for consistency, and just so I mean, I am trying to make a racing journal, so it'd have been good to know. But yeah, it's a great start. I hope to see you guys in episode 2. I understand this is probably very long and edited horribly, but yeah, if you guys let me know, you know, your thoughts in the comments, things that I'm doing wrong. Yeah, we'll try to implement them for episode 2 in China. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. And hope you are enjoying your week. And we'll catch you in the next episode.